So we're going to tie an olive quill-bodied RS2. We're tying with an Umpqua Competition C400 BL hook in a size 16, and we're using a disco-style slotted bead on our jig hook. We're going to slide the bead up onto the hook so it drops into place. Then I'm going to start the thread. And once I get the thread started, I'm going to lock the bead in place. So I'm going to hold it in place with my fingers and make several wraps directly behind the bead until it's locked into place. Now we're going to bring the thread back to the end of the straight shank of the hook at the tangent where it runs in to the bend of the hook. And for the tail, I'm going to use wood duck flank fibers. And in the past, I've tried tying most of my nymphs anatomically correct, but I find as much as this fly gets fished, the tails are just too delicate. So now I'm using somewhere between the neighborhood of 10 to 15 fibers. And I'm going to measure this for half the total length, and that's what I'm using for my tail measurement. And then as I wrap this on, if I bring my fingers forward towards the eye of the hook, that helps take the tail and set it up. And it's not necessary, but it's one of those things, as fly tyers, it just looks nice. Okay, so we're going to bring the body material all the way up to the bead, and I'm going to bring the thread back to the tail, but I'm going to stop 1 to 2 wraps in front of it. For the body, I'm using dyed olive hackle quill stems. The ones I use are from Dee's Flies out of Denver, Colorado, and we're tying this one with a bluing olive color. I also tie this pattern with a Beta's olive color. So with this particular pattern, I'm not as worried about getting a good tapered body. I just need a segmented body. So I'm going to tie this on so that the quill takes up about the distance of the body. And I'm just going to wrap the thread, one wrap next to the other, until I get up to that point. And then we're going to bring the quill around the hook point and wrap it as tightly as we can, one wrap next to the other. And we're about half or 2/3 up. We're going to stop and 3 wraps to tie it off. Then I'm going to take my thread and I want to tie the end of the quill all the way in. Now I'm going to turn the hook upside down in the vise. And now we're going to use a piece of gray Amp Poly sparkle yarn in medium gray and tie that in for the wing. So I'm going to trap it between my fingers and tie that in. Then we're going to pull this taut and clip it at the end of the hook. And that's going to become the wing or the wing buds of the newly hatching insect. For the thorax, we're going to use beaver dubbing. And we're just going to dub a nice little flat beaver thorax. Now that I have this dubbed on, we'll go ahead and wrap it on. And that is our thorax. And now we're going to whip finish it, and the fly is done. So 3 turn, and I like to do 2 3-turn whip finishes. And I hope to try and capture the thread up underneath the dubbing. And that is the olive quilt-bodied RS2. Probably one of my top 3 flies when there's a, for the Lower Owens River, particularly when the blue-wing olive hatch is taking place, which is from mid-January through April.